So, you were just looking at a map of West Africa, or just thinking about this country, and you wondered just why does the Gambia exist separate from Senegal? After all, even keeping colonialism in mind, wouldn't it just make more sense for the two countries to be one? The Gambia, for those unfamiliar, only encompasses, well, I'm showing you the map, look at it, it's basically just the area around a river. So how did this little strip of land become a country, why did it stay so skinny, and given how problematic it can be for its only neighbor Senegal, how has it remained independent? Some countries in this world just don't make any sense. Like Belgium, which just, why? Why Belgium? Why? But in terms of borders, post-colonial Africa is a goldmine of what people subscribe to channels like mine will probably call border gore. Although that isn't always a good thing for the people on the ground, who have to live with these collect up borders. For someone to drive from Senegal's capital, largest, and coolest named city, Dakar, to a city in the south like Ziguinchor, one can either drive there in only 8 hours but cross an international border twice, or travel all the way around the Gambia, adding 5 more hours. Or you could probably just fly, but that's no way to hold a land-based country together. But it is unsurprisingly for these logistical reasons that Senegal has often tried to infiltrate Gambian politics. But more on that in a bit. Oh yes, also it's the Gambia. Basically because they just didn't want anyone to confuse them with Zambia. Although maybe someone should tell Zambia that they could easily be confused with Zimbabwe. And also the is often capitalized because the symbolizes the transition from the colonial protectorate to the modern republic. So yes, the answer does indeed have to do with colonialism. Senegal was a French colony while the Gambia was British. In fact, for 2 months after independence from the French in 1960, Senegal was briefly united with Mali in the Mali Federation, which the Gambia still wasn't part of. However, Senegal and the Gambia did later unite under the Senegambia Confederation in the 80s, which failed miserably. So, why? Looking through a geographical lens, at least part of the reason for the division becomes clearer, as the Gambia appears to straddle the border between Senegal's dry desert north and its lush wet south. But now the question becomes, why does Senegal have this southern portion? Why does the country wrap its way around the Gambia? There are 2 rivers to keep in mind here, the Senegal River and the Gambia River, not the Gambia River, just Gambia this time. The Senegal River flows largely to the north of Senegal, forming the border with Mauritania and ending at St. Louis. The Gambia River, however, has much more to do with our story, not just with geography, but also the borders. Before the arrival of Europeans, this whole area hadn't been united under one kingdom anyway. Much of what would become Senegal, pretty much down to the border of modern the Gambia, was under the rule of the Wolof Kingdom, until their fall in the 19th century. The first European ventures to this general area were achieved by the Portuguese in the 15th century, though these outposts were quickly abandoned, although they did inspire a name for this area that would stick, as theirs was largely a mission of trade, or in Portuguese, cambio. But by the late 16th century, the British and French had started competing to establish a presence here, as the Senegambia region became an important post for the so-called triangular trade, something which I will not be making any jokes about because, aside from gold and ivory, this route also involved the trading of enslaved people to colonies in the New World. The French established trading posts here in the mid-18th century. However, during the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War, or the, oh yeah, that war before the Revolutionary War, British forces took over the French settlements, creating the crown colony of Senegambia. However, the Brits then turned out to be a little preoccupied, what with America trying to exist, allowing the French to swoop back in 1779. The Treaty of Versailles and the Treaty of Paris, the one in 1783, then established that the French would be left with Saint-Louis, Ile-de-Grâce, and the Senegal River region, while the British would be left with just the Gambia River region. However, no chartered company made enough of a real profit here yet to allow for any real expansion. Yet. Okay, so for this next segment, I couldn't actually find images of either of the people I mentioned, so instead I'm just going to represent them using Minecraft villagers. In 1816, though, Britain sent Alexander Grant, yeah, good luck not getting his name confused with any other historical figures, to establish a foothold in the Gambia River to re-establish a base for the British Navy, mainly to better control the slave trade. He purchased Banjul Island from Mansa, or King, Sulingjata of a small local kingdom called Kombo, on which quickly grew the town of Bathurst, now the Gambian capital and largest city, Banjul. 10 years later, the same king ceded a 1-mile strip of land on the northern bank of the river, though later on that century, the British and French started to expand inward, with Britain taking the Gambia River region and France taking basically everywhere else in West Africa, and these borders crystallizing with the Berlin Conference in 1884. Senegal was created as a republic in 1958 and broke off from Mali in 1960, while the Gambia gained its independence in 1965. In 1981, there was a coup attempt against Gambian President Dawda Jawara, which was put down after Senegalese forces were allowed to intervene. Around this, discussions of some sort of unification increased in volume, with the two countries coming together to create the Senegambia Confederation. This confederation, however, was not a single country, rather a loose, confederation between the two countries, still largely separate in all affairs except military and economic. However, while leaders and elites from either country largely supported the confederation at first, the same could not have been so easily said about most of the people of either country. Gambians in particular developed strong fears of losing power under this arrangement, eventually leading to the confederation being disbanded in 1989. One group that strongly benefited from this union, however, was, unsurprisingly, those in Senegal's Casamance region. The part directly south of the Gambia, whose quality of life as a result of the Confederation's disbandment gradually worsened, empowering militant separatist groups, resulting in the ongoing low-level Casamance conflict, though which since 2015 has only seen minimal actual fighting. So now, if anyone ever asks you why Gambia is a separate country from Senegal, you can show them this video, but technically you can say it is because America exists.